What's going on, everybody? My name is Tomas, and this is a quick video on the GorillaPod plus Ballhead, and this is the Focus. So it's the heavy-duty one that does camera equipment, actual, heavy DSLRs and zoom lenses and that type of thing. This was brought to my attention by Mobile Carlos a long time ago. I just want to crack into the packaging. Pricing and availability will be linked in the description of this video if you're interested in checking one of these out yourself. At the time of this video, I got this for around $100, and that came with the actual tripod legs, or the grippy legs, and the ball head. So without further ado, let's just crack into the Joby GorillaPod plus Ballhead X, and the GorillaPod is the Focus edition. Right off the bat, in the top of the box, you get some documentation on how to utilize this little thing, how to use a ball head, and there's also some more information on how to adapt the 1/4 inch that's on top of the tripod to 3/8. Pretty self-explanatory. Get that out of the way. Box. So, oh, cool. So it comes assembled for you, just a box, and this is super strong. So I'm ecstatic to get to testing this. I want to test it with the good old GH4 with the 24-105. And then I seen the pictures on Amazon that it was going to handle a beefy freaking telephoto lens. So I have a 70-200 Canon, and this thing is heavy. I'm going to test this as well. I don't know, but we're going to see if it works. Actually, before we get into all that, I want to take a look at the ball head. The ball head is fantastically built, and it's also really smooth, so you could utilize this almost as a fluid head. Again, I don't know how that'll perform if there's a heavy-ass lens on the front of this, but initial impressions of this thing, it's really smooth, and it also gives you graduated elements to know how far you're panning in degrees. To tighten that down, you just tighten this little knob here, and it's really sturdy. So let's flip over to the other side of the Joby. This here is going to control the actual ball head. The ball head's really smooth as well. One thing that you'll have to note and be very careful of is having heavy gear on top of this, and loosening this up could cause it to drop down and damage your gear. So be very careful utilizing this handle when you're making adjustments. One thing also that I think is bad with this ball head is the deployment of the quick plate and the quick release plate system. You literally loosen it up. Yeah, there's a catch there, but if you have heavy gear enough to where this loosens up, because the way it loosens up, you got to loosen this all the way up, and it's spring loaded, of course, but if you loosen it up enough, your camera gear has the potentiality to fall off. So just be very careful when you're utilizing this system. That goes without saying. This type of tripod system is meant to be deployed in awkward situations. So just be very careful with your camera equipment. It's valuable, and there is high potential for damage to it if you're utilizing the system improperly. All right, so the Joby GorillaPod Focus supports up to 11 pounds or 6.5 kilograms, and it's doing a fantastic job at that. You can see here I have my GH4 with the 24-105. Again, you got to be very careful with the adjustment of the ball head here with this knob, because again, if this falls, your lens is in trouble. Here is a demonstration of how strong this system actually is. Now, let's go ahead and throw this beast on there and see how well it actually does. Whoa, it's not holding it at a wide angle, but as you can see, it's kind of collapsing under the pressure of this heavy lens. Now, this gives me a little bit of concern on how they're marketing this on Amazon, because you can see that it's not holding it. The images they show these telephoto lenses on there being held up no problem. Okay, so this is a steeper angle of the legs, and it is holding it, but I wouldn't recommend utilizing the Joby GorillaPod Focus in this fashion with this type of system. It's simply too heavy for it. But for 24-105 or Sigma lenses, absolutely fine. So this thing is gonna be able to manage, lenses like this size much better than it will be able to manage lenses of the telephoto type. So just so you're aware, the images that are portrayed on Amazon are not completely accurate, because a little bit of freedom on this thing and it's going to start to collapse, as you can see, because this is just too heavy of a system to be applied on this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some sample shots maybe and see how we can utilize this thing in different ways or forms. Here's a demonstration of how strong the Joby GorillaPod focus actually is. I have this holding up my GH4 with a Sigma 18 to 35, and if you are familiar with the Sigma to 18 to 35, you know for a fact that this thing is no light lens by any means. It is a really heavy lens, and this thing is holding it rather well. I have no concerns if that's going to drop my equipment at all. This thing is fantastically constructed, like I've said before. Well, let's get into another demonstration of something and how this thing can be utilized in different kinds of formats and stuff like that. Okay, so here's another way that you can utilize this thing. It's actually limited by your imagination on how you want to implement some shooting ways to utilize the Joby GorillaPod focus. This thing is strong. The only thing that's weak in this system is my arm, and the stabilization and everything is all based on my arm, but it opens the door again to creative expression. It's totally worth $100, and I would highly recommend it if you are looking to do some more creative things with what it is you're doing. All right, so here's another way that you can utilize the Joby GorillaPod focus. You can makeshift a shoulder rig, which is really useful in getting stable shots. This thing is really limited to your imagination, like I said before. This thing is, I really love it. I think it's the best $100 I've spent in quite a while, because you can get some really nice video utilizing this in this fashion. As you will see here, I'm going to capture my son. Really great steady footage. I mean, it's not something that's professional, but it's really light, easy to use, and it has a million different uses. Again, limited by your imagination. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but you can put this thing anywhere that you can think of, and also utilize it as a shoulder rig, as you can see here. All right, so with all that said, that about does it for me in this one. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down, and let me know in the comments section down below what it is that I can do to improve. In addition to that, feel free to check out my channel and some of the past works that I've done. If you like what you've seen here and what you've seen on my channel and you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Take care.